Hello and welcome. This is Michele Christensen, and this is a Plan With Me video for June of 2018. Now, I'm using OneNote for Windows 10, so depending on what version and what device you're using, your OneNote may look a little different than mine. But I myself am an avid OneNote fan, and I use OneNote to keep just about everything in my life, big and small, organized and moving forward. I'm a YouTube creator, I'm a blogger at OneNoteworthyLife.com, and I host the OneNote Bullet Journal Facebook group. So I have actually already done my planning for June, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through my review and goal setting process. The reason that I filmed this after having completed the process is because it does take some time. I like to really put some thought and effort into this, and usually it takes about an hour or two spread over a few days. And then the other thing is there's not really much in the way of OneNote tips and tricks to show you, so I like to kind of do the process and then summarize it for you while I film it. So there is one thing I want to reference or explain before we start, because I may reference it several times, which is that I had a really eventful 2017. So we're about halfway through 2018, and going into this year, things were just very chaotic, and I felt kind of just behind the eight ball and everything, and just kind of like upside down, topsy-turvy. So I finally had a few months of just calm, smooth sailing, and everything is starting to go much better. So if you hear me talk about the kind of chaotic beginning of this year, that's why. So the very first thing I do when changing from one month to the next is I review the goals I set for the prior month. So in my OneNote notebook, this review page would actually be just one page, but I split it into multiple pages to make the video a little bit easier to read. So my first goal for May was to have a calorie deficit, that is to undereat by about 130 calories per day. As part of this chaotic 2017, I did put some weight on, so I'm working on getting back to a healthy body weight. And I'm pleased to say I did that. I hit that goal. It wasn't easy. My husband and I have been planning date nights for each other, so we've been eating out a little bit more. So it's been a little bit harder to hit that, but I did hit it. So even though it wasn't very easy, I'm stepping that goal up to 150 for the next month because I just feel ready for a push and I feel like I can do it. I'm also really happy with my progress. I have lost body fat and gained lean body mass, and I feel like that's about as good as it gets. So one of my other big goals for this period of time is to get my sleep on track. My sleep was just very messed up at the beginning of the year. I wasn't sleeping well or restfully or steadily. And I'm pleased to say I've made a lot of progress with that. So one of the habits I've been working on is to not use my tablet before bed. Around the beginning of this year, I was using my tablet in bed to play games and read and stuff every night for sometimes more than an hour, and it was really interfering with my sleep. I would have very busy dreams all night and feel like I had been kind of working or doing things all night when I should have really been resting. So I've been gradually cutting back on how much I use my tablet before bed, and my goal in May was to only do Saturday and 2 other days. And I've made so much progress on this habit that I really only track the days that I use the tablet now because there are so few. And I'm pleased to say that I nailed this goal, and it really gets easier every single month. What's kind of cool about this particular one is that I've kind of seen the life cycle of it. Meaning that back in January, I had gotten like really off to a bad, start with this habit. So I decided to start working on it. I began tracking it, slowly improving it, and it got easier every month to use the tablet less and less. And now I feel like I'm almost done with this. I'm still tracking it just to make sure I don't backslide, but probably in a month or two, this will just be gone from my current view of the month. So it's kind of neat to see that, recognition of a problem, work on it, gets easier, and then I'm done with it and on to the next thing. So I've also been tracking my wake up and bedtimes. Just trying to get my sleep on track, and this is working really well. The tracking is working, and I'm getting up at when I want to. The problem is, if you see in the next point, I had noticed on the 21st of May that I had not gotten to bed even a single time yet that month. By the end of the month, I had only gotten to bed on time twice. So in June, that's going to be a big focus, is getting to bed on time. I'm really pleased to report, though, that especially compared to the beginning of this year, my sleep quality is just way, way up. I'm sleeping much better. I'm waking up feeling rested, and really feeling pleased with that. And I think when I'm a little further along in this sleep improvement practice, I'm going to maybe corral these tips into a video, because I do feel like I've learned a lot about that. So for June, the focus is just on getting to bed on time. That's, I feel like, the next big thing I need to work on. Okay, another item I wanted to work on for May was to prune my daily setup. It feels like it takes me a lot of time to get set up for the day, figure out what to do, kind of balance all the tasks out and things like that. I want to work on having fewer items on my current sort of view in general, and spend less time managing my tasks. So I feel like I do too much migrating. I have too many things open and too many things that I want to do right now at once, and it's just not working. So I'm trying to jump in and just do things more than trying to analyze it and figure out where to put it, or when to do it, and just do it if it's only going to take a few minutes. I also feel like I'm wasting a lot of time on decisions that don't really have any value to them. So I want to work on streamlining things more so that there are fewer decisions. So, for example, the order that I do things in every day, like, bedtime and morning routines, just do them in the same order every day. And I want to do some time blocking so that I'm not making so many decisions about what to do with my time on an hour-by-hour basis. So my final goal for May was to do 1 video a week plus 1, which was 5 in total. And then I had decided if I hit this in May, I'm going to go for 6 videos in June, and then just kind of stay at that level. I feel like 6 per month is a really good stream for me. And that there are other things in my business that I need to work on once I get that content stream where I want it to be. And I'm pleased to say I did this. So I'm going for 6 in June, see if I can make that one. So the next thing I do in reviewing my month is I write this section called What Else? And this is just for anything that came up that affected my month, anything that helped me, anything that made it difficult, whatever. So the first thing I wanted to point out was that I really feel like things kind of came together this month. As I mentioned, I've had about 4 months now where things have not been super eventful like they were over the past few years. And I feel like things are moving, they're getting done, I'm accomplishing my goals bit by bit, and it feels like things are falling into place and becoming more normal. So that just feels awesome. I'm really excited about that. The next thing I thought of was that the 2-minute rule is not quite enough. And if you don't know what that is, that's a principle from the book and productivity system, Getting Things Done. And the 2-minute rule is that when you're kind of processing items or looking at them, trying to decide what to do with them, if something takes 2 minutes or less, you should just do it on the spot, because it's not worth it to put it onto one of your lists or put it into a calendar or something. Just do it and be done with it. I've been using something more like the 10-minute rule, especially when I set up every day, because if I can take just 10 minutes and set something up and not have it hanging over my head later, I find that to be really valuable. So that's been good. That's helped me to get some things off my plate. So my work inbox, email inbox is 0, so I'm very excited about that. I think that's awesome. It makes it so much easier to just deal with the emails and get through it. Once it's at 0, it's very easy to keep it there, but God, it slips so easily. So I've been working on that every day. So I want to put more focus on the basics, things like my daily routines, just for, all the things you do around your house, in your business, personal care and things like that. Once all those things are done and then I do some work, I might have room for 1 or 2 other things, and then there just isn't much room for much else. There is some room, just not a ton, not as much as I have been loading myself with. So I want to put a lot of focus on the basics. And I also want to focus on my daily routines. I have pretty good routines set up, and I just haven't been using them enough. So I want to focus on that, because I feel like they bring a lot of order and completion to life. So that's going to be a June focus. So pruning was my theme for 2018. So I'm looking for ways to just kind of cut down the amount of things I have open, finish things, get them out of my, out of my head, out of my, off my to-do list, that kind of thing. So there were 2 points on this. One is that I'm definitely taking more action. I'm trying not to prioritize so much and just do things. And I'm definitely getting the feeling that things are moving and that I'm making progress. I have my eye on this, and I'm still looking for opportunities to do things quickly and get them off my plate, because I think there's a lot of power in that. Like, now that I've caught this thing where, if something is even 10 minutes or less, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't try and figure out if it's priority or not. Just do it and be done with it. I also look each month at my annual plan for that month, what I thought I was going to be working on in May. So there was a plumbing inspection I wanted to schedule this month, but I didn't do it. But we are working on other home improvement projects. And, it's just how things go sometimes. You think something's important at the time, but then other things are more important. So I feel good about what I'm working on. It's just not what I thought I was going to be working on. And I do have a website I'm supposed to be putting up for my mom, but again, it was postponed because of her decision, not mine. So there's a sense of that feels good because I know it's not just sitting out there unattended. It's specifically been postponed. So this is my last piece for May. This is my May calendar. And as you can see, I don't really use this to keep appointments or anything. I use it to write down something good that happened each day. So I like to add like a little doodle or something to it too. So that's May calendar. So that's it. I've done my review of May. I feel like I've thought that through, ready to move on to June. So here are my June goals. So first, as I mentioned, that calorie goal is going to be 150 a day, under eating by 150 a day. I'm going to continue working on my sleep, continue with the tablet-free bedtime. So this month, my goal is Saturdays and 2 other days, and I'm going to focus on bedtime this month. So my goal is to get in bed on time 50% or more of the days. So I'm not really trying to change my sleep hours or anything else. I just want to work on getting to bed on time and identifying, on nights I don't get to bed on time, identifying why and trying to put a solution into place so it doesn't happen again. So my end of the day routine, I feel like that's pretty well set. I want to continue to use it, but I do want to pay more attention to the alarms I set at night. I have an alarm set for, I think it's now an hour and 10 minutes before I want to get to bed. And when that goes off, the idea is I wrap up what I'm doing and start my before bed routine. I've been kind of so-so on that, so I want to kind of really pay attention when that alarm goes off. So those bonds, I want to do the next part, and I have time already scheduled for that. And then my final goal for June is to prune, no, I'm sorry, it's not my final, but another goal is to prune my daily setup. So I want to focus more on doing things right away, like what can I just wipe off the slate without even putting it onto a list anywhere. By the end of the month, I want to have a daily list of no more than 10 items. That's been my goal all along, but it just continues to slip sometimes, and then sometimes it just keeps going and going. So I really want to kind of lock myself into that 10. And once I get to that, I may try using some sort of a template to force me to keep it at 10. And then maybe if I can get to that by next month, which would be July, I can get rid of this little running to-do list that I have. I also want to think about a more structured daily routine to remove some of the decision making. I kind of mentioned that before, so that maybe I would time block my day a little bit more. And I want to do some of my daily setup the night before. So I think that'll help me hit the ground running. So content, as I mentioned, I want to get 6 videos up in June. And then my daily habits, I want to work on catching up and being more consistent with these. I feel like they're really valuable, and I just have not been prioritizing that. Okay, so for my, I'm just going to make this a little bigger so we can see it. From my annual plan, we had a family birthday in June. That was early in the month, and I am filming this a little ways into June, so that has actually already happened. It was really fun. And I'm planning an East Coast trip, so I'm working on my plans for that. So yeah, fabulous. I'm really excited. My family's back east, and I'm in the LA area. The final thing is I set up a June calendar, and since I am filming this a little ways into June, you'll see that some of these days are already filled in. So that's it. I'm all set up for June and ready to go. Ready to have a great month. And I do realize that this process takes time, but I feel like it's a really good investment of time. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. I've made a lot of progress. It gives me a lot of direction and a sense of clarity that I am, moving in the direction that I want to be moving in. So if you have any questions or comments or something you want to see in more detail, you can go ahead and leave a comment on this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, I would love it if you'd hit the thumbs up button so I know you like this. And if you want to see more videos like this, Plan With Me videos and other OneNote videos, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.